Hi, I'm George Steimer, Product Manager with TSG. If you've been following along in the TSG Compliance Solution demo series, we're building upon a scenario where we want to update our disaster recovery SOP, specifically to add a server to the Thursday backup schedule. In this demo, we're going to show how a user can create a change request to initiate the change process. So I'm here at my document that we modified in the last demo to add this server to the Thursday backup schedule. So the next step is to create a change request. And before we do that, I guess there's a couple of ways clients handle change requests. Some clients choose to route and approve the CR first as sort of a pre-approval to modify the document, and then they go ahead and modify the document and route it separately for approval. Other clients will kind of go down the approach that we're taking here, where you make your change to the document and then route it along with the change request to approve both at the same time. We can support either approach. These demos are going through the latter, where I've made my change here, and now I'm going to go ahead and create a new change request form. So I'm just going to choose the simple CR form and go ahead and create it, and that's going to launch me into the form. Now this is using our Active Wizard product, which presents a form kind of very similar to how TurboTax works, where you're presented with small chunks of the form. You have a status bar over here that shows you where you are within the form, and you'll see this change as the user goes through the form based on the rules. So all of the questions that appear, the pages, and the rules that govern how the pages appear to the user are configurable in the Active Wizard admin. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose some answers here. As you can see, we do have many of the typical form controls for filling out the change request form. And when I go to the next page here, this is going to bring up an example of what we call a leading question. So here it's asking me for the description and rationale. I can go ahead and say, hey, maybe I want to attach a separate document that might be a Word document that maybe it has tables and formulas and other things like that. I can go ahead and attach that document, or I can choose to enter the text directly into the form, which presents me with a different page where I can do just that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my description and rationale of change. Go ahead into the next page. And we're going to discuss this a little bit more in a minute, but here's actually choosing a few of the approvers for this form. Now this page here is allowing me to attach the document. So I'm just going to search for the document that we were working with before. And I could even go and attach other documents as well. So we do support the concept of routing more than one document at a time to approve it, to approve them as a change package all at once. I'm going to go ahead and just remove this since we're just working with the 105 document at this point. So this next page here is what we call the summary page. It presents us with a list of all of the questions and answers that were selected. I can click on any of the page titles to modify any of my answers and then jump back to the summary very easily. So when I click the next button here, it's going to evaluate my form answers against the administratively configured workflow rules. What we're seeing here is a few things. The first is that it's evaluated the rules and come up with two tasks for the workflow. It's going to go to the priority 1 task first, which is regulatory, which is going to be approved by George. And once George is finished, it'll go to the second task, where Alice and Mike will get this CR approval task at the same time. So you're seeing how we can support a serial process of going to a priority 1, then a priority 2, as well as parallel approvals where different users are able to approve at the same time. You're also seeing our rules-based approach, whereas an administrator is configured that since I selected the regulatory affairs as needed and my priority change is not high, it goes to George. The user never had to pick that it went to George. It just drives from the business rules. We're seeing down here the other approach, which is a little bit simpler, where the user simply selects users from a question, and those become approvers. So just to show how this can work, is if I jump back in the form and change my priority change to medium, change regulatory approvers to no, and then maybe I jump over here and remove Alice from this list. Now when I evaluate the workflow rules again, we can see that it's changed, and now it's going to go to Alice as an initial QA as the first task, and once Alice is finished, it's going to go to Mike, who I selected as that CR approval role. What we're basically seeing here is some of the main benefits of the Active Wizard. It's a dynamic, configurable approach where administrators can choose how to drive to approvers. The big benefits being that you can reduce errors by driving to specific users and roles based on how the user fills out the form, and take some of that burden off of the user of figuring out who needs to approve. You're also seeing our dynamic approach and configurable approach, where if business rules change, there's no coding or template modifications needed to, say, remove this initial QA role or add a role in between these or add a role at the end. You can do all of that through the administration screens. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and it will take me back to this HPI view where I can see my form PDF. You'll also notice that we are using our Open Overlay product to apply the header, so we can see the title is draft. And over here we can see the attached workflow document. I can easily jump between the document and my related change form. And in the actions of the form, you're going to see some of these things that we're going to jump into in the next demos. I could also at this point go in and make changes to the form, any additional changes that are needed before I go ahead and start my routes. Well, that's it for this demo. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow along with the next demo in the TSG Compliance Solution series, where we show how to route this change request for a review. Thanks for listening.